Hold on to your hats, folks, because the political landscape is getting weirder. Gone are the days of stuffy debates and boring town halls. Say hello to the age of the influencer. Yes, those same folks who shill teeth-whitening kits and protein powder are now shaping the future of American democracy. And frankly, it's terrifying. It's no secret that US elections are longer and more expensive than ever before. The 2024 presidential race clocked in at a cool $15.9 billion. That's enough to buy every American a commemorative "I survived another election" stress ball and have some cash left over. But here's the kicker. It's not just the traditional donors throwing money around anymore. Now, we have influencers throwing their weight and follower count behind candidates. And let's be honest, when it comes to swaying young voters, a viral TikTok dance routine carries more clout than any policy speech. This is uncharted territory, people. And if we're not careful, we'll end up with a government run by the highest bidder, who also happens to have the best dance moves. Remember when politicians used to kiss babies and shake hands? Those were simpler times. Now they're busy filming TikToks and hosting Twitch streams. And you know what? It's surprisingly effective. Take the 2024 election, for example. Both Biden and Trump, yes, him again, were desperate to court the ever-elusive youth vote. So what did they do? They turned to the influencers, of course. We saw campaign ads disguised as makeup tutorials. We witnessed policy discussions unfold during Fortnite streams. It was bizarre, it was confusing, and it definitely worked. This unholy alliance between politics and influencer culture raises some serious questions. Are we comfortable with our leaders being chosen based on their social media savvy? Are we okay with complex policy issues being distilled into bite-sized, algorithm-friendly content? The answer, my friends, is a resounding "we don't know yet." But one thing's for sure, this is just the beginning. Buckle up. $15.9 billion. Let that sink in for a moment. That's more than the GDP of some small countries, and it all went towards funding the 2024 federal election. Now you might be wondering, where on earth does all that money go? Well, my friends, it's a long and convoluted journey involving expensive TV ads, endless campaign rallies, and enough attack ads to make your head spin. But here's the real kicker. A significant chunk of that cash comes from corporations and wealthy donors. And let's just say they don't exactly have the average American's best interests at heart. This obscene amount of money in politics has real-world consequences. It means that politicians are beholden to their donors, not their constituents. It means that important issues get ignored while special interests get their way. And it means that the average American's voice is drowned out by the deafening roar of money. In the chaotic landscape of American conservatism, one name has emerged from the fray, a name whispered with reverence by college Republicans and dreaded by anyone with a functioning moral compass. That name, my friends, is Charlie Kirk. The founder of Turning Point USA, Kirk has perfected the art of weaponized outrage. His organization, a breeding ground for future Fox News pundits, has become a powerful force in right-wing politics. Kirk's rhetoric, a potent cocktail of Christian nationalism, anti-woke hysteria, and good old-fashioned fear-mongering, has struck a chord with a generation disillusioned with the status quo. His annual AmericaFest event, a MAGA-themed Coachella for the soul, draws tens of thousands of young conservatives eager to bask in Kirk's brand of fiery populism. Whether you view him as a visionary leader or a dangerous demagogue, one thing's for sure, Charlie Kirk is a force to be reckoned with. Section 5, January 6th, a day of infamy, a rallying cry. Remember that whole peaceful transfer of power thing that America used to be known for? Yeah, about that. The January 6th Capitol riot was a stark reminder that American democracy is far more fragile than we like to admit. And what's even more alarming is that for some, that day wasn't a national tragedy, but a badge of honor. Fast forward to 2025, and we're seeing a disturbing trend. People involved in the insurrection are seeking pardons. Not only that, but they're being hailed as heroes by some segments of the right. This glorification of violence is a dangerous path for any democracy to tread. When political differences escalate into attacks on the very institutions that uphold our freedom, it's a sign that something is deeply, fundamentally broken. The scars of January 6th run deep, and it's clear that America hasn't fully grappled with the demons unleashed that day. Section 6. The border wall, more than bricks and mortar. Ah, the US-Mexico border, a 2,000-mile scar across the landscape, a constant source of political posturing, and a reminder that America's relationship with immigration is, to put it mildly, complicated. For years, politicians have used the border as a prop, a backdrop for their tough-on-immigration rhetoric. They swoop in, cameras in tow, promising to fix a problem that's far more nuanced than they care to admit. Meanwhile, the people who actually live and work along the border are left to grapple with the reality of the situation. They see the human cost of America's broken immigration system. They see the families torn apart, the dreams shattered, the lives lost. Until America addresses the root causes of migration, poverty, violence, climate change, the border will remain a political football, kicked back and forth by those who claim to have all the answers but offer little in the way of real solutions. Section 7. America Divided, a House in Disarray. Remember the good old days when the biggest threat to American democracy was a bunch of founding fathers arguing over the best way to structure a government? Yeah, those were the days. Fast forward to 2025 and the American political system is about as functional as a screen door on a submarine. The two major parties are more interested in scoring political points than actually governing. The House of Representatives, that bastion of democracy, is in a constant state of gridlock. Every vote is a partisan battle royale, every policy debate devolves into a shouting match. This internal dysfunction has real-world consequences. It means that crucial legislation stalls. It means that America's enemies see an opportunity to exploit our weakness. And it means that the average American's faith in their government continues to erode. Section 8. The world is watching, U.S. leadership in question. For decades, the United States has been the self-proclaimed leader of the free world. But lately that title has started to ring a little hollow. As America grapples with its own internal demons, political polarization, economic inequality, social unrest, the rest of the world is watching and they're not exactly impressed. America's ability to project power on the global stage has been severely hampered by its own internal chaos. Foreign policy decisions are held hostage to domestic political squabbles. Military interventions are met with skepticism and distrust. The world is facing a multitude of crises: climate change, pandemics, authoritarianism, and America, once seen as a beacon of hope and stability, is struggling to find its footing. The question is, can America reclaim its mantle of leadership, or will it continue its descent into dysfunction and decline? Section 9. The Future of American Politics, a Digital Circus. So here we are, folks, staring into the abyss of the future. And let me tell you, it's looking pretty bleak. The lines between politics and entertainment have blurred beyond recognition. Influencers are the new kingmakers. Elections are obscenely expensive exercises in futility, and the very fabric of American democracy is fraying at the edges. But hey, maybe I'm just a cynical old curmudgeon. Maybe this is just the natural evolution of democracy in the digital age. Maybe we'll all look back on this era and laugh at our naivete, or maybe, just maybe, we're witnessing the slow-motion collapse of the American experiment. Only time will tell.